Let's get some more on this with Mikael Valtersson, who joins us live from Stockholm. He's a military analyst and former officer with the Swedish Army. Mikael, good to see you there. What do you think Russia's going to do next?
They can't do much against Ukraine, but one thing that could be an escalation within Ukraine would be to don't take any consideration of for example, Western visitors and things like that into Ukraine, because then it will be very impossible for Western leaders to go to Ukraine. Normally, Russia has avoided doing strikes when Western leaders are in Ukraine. So we might see a stop of visitors from the West, at least. And besides that, they might give some weapons to different groups outside of Europe that are against the West, and especially then to the Houthis in Yemen. But there will not be any strikes against Western targets in Europe.
OK, so you're talking about arming anti-Western groups, possibly continuing with strike even when Western leaders are in Ukraine. But as far as all this nuclear sabre rattling goes, do you think that's all it is and no one's going to be using any nuclear weapons anytime soon?
Not yet. In the new Russian doctrine, it says that if there are massive strikes against Russian targets with conventional weapons, they might respond with nuclear weapons. And that will mean that there won't be any massive strikes against Russian targets. I don't know how many missiles, ATACMS, Ukraine has got. There are a clear limit of the numbers of missiles that the US has. So if they continue with the strikes like tonight, it was just 6 missiles at one time. That won't lead to a nuclear response, and it will be rather easy for Russian air defense to eliminate most of those missiles. This night they said that 5 of 6 missiles were downed, and the 6th one was damaged. So if Ukraine only uses a limited number of missiles, there won't be any large escalation.
Right, because from what I hear, in countries such as where you are, like Sweden and Finland, they're taking the threat of nuclear war so seriously that they've been distributing pamphlets, warning people to get ready for war and to have kits ready and talking about a nuclear war. Is that right?
Yes, I got it just today. It looks like this.
Right. OK.
Yes. So earlier it was in the phone directory, but now people don't have that. So they have resumed it. It was usually during the Cold War, everybody got it a new one every year. But for 30 years, it hasn't come. And now the government takes it very seriously.
Yeah, but do the people?
Well, it differs between groups in society. I believe that defense politicians are more anxious and the government than the majority of the population.
Right, OK, because I know that Sweden, Finland, your countries that are both very close to Russia. Indeed, Finland shares a very large border with Russia. Yes. And there are concerns there about what Russia may do, especially after President Trump comes to power?
Well, as long as NATO functions the way it does today, I don't believe there are any huge threat towards neither Finland, Sweden, or even the Baltics. But if there would be some kind of dissolution of the NATO, especially the Baltic states would be in a very precarious situation.
Mikael, really good to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us, Mikael Valtersson. They're a military analyst former officer with the Swedish Army, joining us live from Stockholm.